Say that. I wish I had that on tape, though.
You can't wear Crocs unless you're gardening. That's just a rule of life. The Crocs shouldn't have been in the video.
No, you can't wear Crocs even if you're gardening.
Yeah, you can.
No.
No one should wear them in general.
Exactly.
I know what I'm
David can do
saying.
whatever he wants.
You
What
can't
does
be
it really
like
matter?
you can't be like
Is
a
it like
Croc Nazi.
really like
When people are gardening.
There's
Oh, yeah.
Town counselors wear Crocs, and every time she wears them, oh my
Who
god.
wears Crocs?
Eamon.
Yeah, but even still.
Okay, moving on.
Yes, moving on. Moving on.
Okay, so to continue going on the whole what would you do situation, what would you, if you had seen what happened to me and you weren't Liliana, but instead you were either like Caroline, Frida, or Ryan, just sort of like the bystanders of the entire thing, what would you have done?
I
If
would
you
have
watched
asked her if she had Tourette's. Like, I'm serious. Like, I just would be like, why do you feel the need to just like shout out every rude thing in your mouth?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what to
a lot
say.
of nasty things, a lot. I don't say them all, so I don't understand why everybody else does. Like, I would be like, what's the point of that statement that you just made? Thank you for informing us. We all know he's like a flaming homosexual. Thank you very much. Like, what's the point? Just to be rude about it? Like, what?
One thing that's worth pointing out, and since Dante, you and I do have a close relationship, and I am Facebook friends with your mom, I feel the need to point out that while we're talking about being gay and having learning disabilities, you actually just called out people with Tourette's.
What do you mean?
Well, like, you... How should I explain this? Alright.
I kind of get
Go
what
on.
you're saying, but then I feel like that's like when you're just gonna like randomly like shout out random things. Like,
Might as well shove it right back up.
I feel like I wasn't saying there's anything bad about having Tourette's. Like, if you have Tourette's, you have Tourette's. But I feel like if you're gonna just shout out random, inappropriate, and rude things, it's a valid question. Do you have Tourette's?
Okay. Continue, David.
Is that what you
Yeah,
do?
that's
Right on that. If I were another person in that room, you know, I would definitely call out that person. I hate bullies, no matter what. You know, for myself, you know, not like as a freshman, I know I got bullied a lot, and I still do get bullied. I can't speak for you because I'm not gay, but I do know what it's like to be bullied, and I don't like it. So I would definitely be on the side of someone who was getting bullied and call the other person out, because that's not all right, no matter what the case is. I don't like bullies.
Moving on. Okay. Final what would you do question. Did any of you notice Miss Thompson did nothing?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you have done if you were Miss Thompson and you watched that go down in your classroom as a teacher?
Fire her.
You are the teacher, you can't fire yourself. People are bullying each other in my classroom, I quit!
I'm fired.
I think, so if we were Miss Thompson and we heard that,
Or any teacher in general.
okay. I guess just me being me, I'd kick that person out of the class. Like, you're gonna talk like that, then just leave, you know? I don't wanna hear it, so.
That's a good way to handle with it. They have to keep teaching the class. They can't just stop
Yeah.
and talk to that person right then, right now. They have to talk to them later. Because it would interrupt the class, and it would just show that it would just be like if she stopped and like and said, Liliana, I'm gonna talk to you right now, and it would be everyone would like, and she stepped out and like talked to Liliana outside. It would make more of a commotion instead of just like saying, Liliana, can you just step outside or go to like Dr. Bando's room or something.
I mean, I think at this school it's a little bit different because instead of having the higher ups, like at another school, be like a principal, discipline the kids. You don't hear of like kids getting sent to Dr. Riendo every day, and once a period, which is common in a lot of schools. Whenever somebody acts up, they get sent to the principal's office. So you can't just banish a kid from your classroom. I mean, I guess if it was a really bad situation, you could send them to Dr. Rando, but if I were her, I would have asked the students to come to my classroom after school, because I feel like as a teacher, it's my responsibility to try my students to be responsible and respectful adults. And saying things like that really, I feel like being hateful, or even being openly hateful, because I guess everybody's entitled to their opinion, just like cripples people as adults. It makes you seem like uneducated and like
Condescending.
just uneducated and rude. So I would definitely have her come talk to me after school.
I think it's interesting that, like, you said that you talked to her in private, and I agree that that's a less threatening and a less confrontational way to address someone who's done something wrong. But at the same time, she just, and I can't speak for you, David, but
You don't have
she
to.
just, like, she could have just embarrassed someone in the class. So why give her that privacy when she just, like, voided someone else's?
I get what you're saying. I would be like, I would say it in class, like, you need to come see me after school. Like, we don't have time to talk about this right now, but you need to come see me after school. But it's not about, like, giving her, like, some sort of, like, privacy or space to, like, understand something. It's just, you're in class, you're not gonna stop the whole class for this one person. But, I just think her saying that was a hurtful thing to the person she said it to, but also the fact that she said that just shows that there's something wrong going on with her. You know, and I feel like as a teacher, it's my responsibility to handle both of those things, both ending the bullying and going to the root of like why is she saying these things? Does she not know this is like a hateful and rude thing to say?
We're gonna move on to the next question, just for sake of time.
So, I'm actually going to skip one of the questions, because I think you all pretty much know what the purpose of the project was. It's kind of classic. So, to sort of stray away from the project a little bit, sort of talk more about purpose, do you think that students here at Eagle Hill are bullied? Can you elaborate on that?
It happens like everywhere in the dining hall or classrooms. I think you've seen the video. I know that I had it happen to me. And you've seen it once too. I mean, students call out students on other things that they don't like about the other students. So, yeah.
Someone said to me that, like, they think it's interesting how at a school like this, where everyone is, I guess, different and diverse, that the kids here still choose to be nasty to each other. And I kind of thought the same thing. Like, why would someone who's been judged and been bullied and, you know, so on and so forth, choose to do that to someone else when they know what it feels like? I think it's one thing if it's this whole group mentality, you know, let's be cool kind of thing, and it's another if it's, you know, more intimate, like if it's like one-on-one. But I mean, kids do things for, you know, a variety of different reasons. Doesn't make it right, but it happens. So
I think bullying definitely does happen at this school. And, you know, as Josh said, you know, people come, you know, to the school because, you know, we have a variety of different problems, learning disabilities, maybe not, I don't know. But I think there is a hierarchy at this school somehow that created itself where students discriminate against each other. And if somehow, I don't know how all that part of the hierarchy works, but like the cool kids may discriminate against the kids who have, you know, social problems and maybe this learning disability, and it happens. And, you know, bullying happens at every school, and I wish it doesn't. It exists. We can only try to stop it. or hinder it.
I think there's a fine line between, I mean, maybe it's not fine. I think it's not a fine line at all. It's a very large line, but it's a very blurry line. Between bullying and disliking someone.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm not completely sure where the line is drawn, but I know that a lot of the, there is bullying at this school. That, I mean, all bullying is wrong, but especially at this school, I feel like a lot of the bullying is like, it's inappropriate, like to be, well, that's a whole other thing. But anyways, so the line between like bullying and disliking someone is, it's like a very confusing thing to me, and honestly, I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on it. But I think at this school a lot, and specifically, I don't know why, maybe it's because kids feel more comfortable talking about being bullied. But people, I guess either they confuse or they equate somebody not liking them with somebody bullying them. Like I've been in a situation with friends where they'll come to me and tell me, oh my gosh, I hate this girl, she's bullying me. And I'll be like, well, what did she do to you? She said she didn't want to be my friend and she wanted me to leave her alone. That's not bullying you, you know? That's mean, that's not what a friend does, but that's not bullying.
I think that line of separation is based on a personal level, not necessarily something that others can choose for other people. I mean, for someone, someone saying that they don't want to be their friend and they want them to stay away from them, that might actually really be hurtful and feel like they're being bullied because that's just that's their own perception of bullying. Whereas someone else could just see it as, oh, she doesn't like me.
Well, I mean, if bullying is just hurting someone's feelings, then you can't really stop bullying, ever. Because, in most situations, in most difficult situations, even when they're handled completely respectfully and compassionately, people's feelings get hurt. So, I mean, I don't know, I don't know.
Like I said, it's based on a personal level.
But then, let's say I have a friend who,
Do you think it's bullying if it's repetitive? It has to be repetitive?
That's something that, I think that constitutes bullying. If somebody's repetitively going after someone else, that's, something that I know which side of the line it's on. But, I'm a little confused about, what if I don't want to be friends with anybody and I want them to leave me alone? I don't want to be mean to them. I don't want to hurt their feelings. But I'll tell them, hey, I just need some space right now. I don't really want to hang out. So you could just back off a little bit. That would be great. That might hurt their feelings. Am I bullying them? No. I think it's pretty clear that I'm not. I think that's an honest and respectful way to say that.
The way that you just said that was very more so less aggressive than when you said, I don't want to be your friend, get away from me.
Even if you said that, that's not bullying. If you say, I want to be your friend, leave me alone. That's being direct, but that's not bullying. You can't call that bullying, telling somebody that. Now, if you're repeatedly going after someone, if you won't let somebody sit in the same room as you, if somebody walks into your room and you're like, get away from me, I hate you, that's bullying. But if you simply tell someone, I don't like you, please go away, or I don't like you, go away, you don't even have to say please, I would suggest it, but you can't call that bullying.
What do other people think?
April's been trying to put up her hand for some time now. April.
Well, I think there is bullying at this school, and like Dante said, and I think it's something that is repetitive. So I always like to think that when someone does something mean, I like to think, did I misunderstand the situation? Did I miscommunicate? Did I do something wrong? Did I not understand something? And then if it happens again, I'm like, I probably didn't understand that if that person glared at me and then said I hate you, then walked away. Like, and then like, also I think since we're such a small community, I think it's not only the students. I think that sometimes the faculty get involved, and when the faculty get involved with the students, and the student, you know, when some students go to the faculty and they're like, this girl bullied me, this girl's doing this, you need to go talk to her, and they use like a faculty member as a mediator, I think it's kind of an issue because it kind of puts them in the middle of the thing, middle of the situation, and it's kind of like, it's not really a healthy way to deal with it, and it's not a very grown-up way. Like you do that when you're in elementary school, maybe a little bit in middle school, maybe a little bit in freshman and sophomore year, but you, as you're an upperclassman, you want to kind of back away from that. And then the like faculty members get to like start talking about like, oh, this person's having like a problem or something like that. And
But
so,
what if that's part of their job to?
yeah, it is part of their job. But the thing is, I'm saying that starts conflicts, and I'm saying that it's better if the two kids resolve it themselves. And I see a lot of kids.
The group of people should be able to solve it themselves, especially if they're upperclassmen and they're older, potentially more mature. But a lot of the times, people just refuse to listen to the other side of what someone else has to say, and they feel like if anything's going to get done, it's going to be by involving an adult because there's that authority and that wall that's up. That it's like, okay, I'm not going to take you seriously, but I'm really going to take her seriously.
Then you just don't talk to that person anymore. See, if someone is not really going to listen to me, or like, I wouldn't go, like, maybe I would like vent to like someone that I like or something, but I wouldn't go get a faculty member because I think that would just make, like, I feel like a lot of times if someone won't talk to you, it's a sign that they're A, like not mature enough, or B, just like they're not a good friendship for you. Like you should, like if they're not talking to you, or if they're not, obviously they don't want to talk to you, or if they're like saying rude things and it's coming back to you and stuff like that, getting a faculty member is not really going to help. It's just going to have the other person think like, oh, like what a little kid she is. Like she just got a faculty member, like to like.
Well, she wouldn't have needed to get a faculty member if this person just kept their mouth shut in the first place.
Yeah, that's true, but.
Continuing forward, I enjoyed the response, it's going to be helpful. It's just that we're almost out of time, so I'm just going to follow it up with our final question. What other ways, or